Okay, I'm going to show you what's in my overnight or ultralight setup for the bike packing here. This is a Bear Claw Bo Jackson 29er 2.2, and I've got just a half frame bag and a handlebar bag with a little dry bag underneath. In the handlebar bag I've just got camera gear, some tights in case it got too cold to ride, or at night if the temperature dropped more. And I got some room in there I could put DSLR. Underneath that I've got my headlamp and some other electronics, battery pack and cable. And then if I want, I can put some extra food on top of all that and roll it down. It'll hold a good bit. That's a pretty good bag from Revelate, the Ingress Handlebar Bag, and it's got a built-in, what basically turns it into a holster setup with these straps here, and I can put a dry bag underneath. This is a 5-liter dry bag holding my down sleeping bag, so it's pretty compact for a 30-degree bag, and that fits in nicely behind my brake cables and everything. That's super tight. If needed, I could strap it down with another set of straps, but I've never needed to. It's pretty tight in there. Then I've got my feed bags mounted, and they are in a different place than most people. Most people mount them up here between the stem and handlebars. I like them down here, mounted on the top tube and the down tube with zip tie and Velcro. Up here I like having more of the hand positions available, and moving that down there just tucks it behind all this pretty well. I use these, I put a drink in the left one most of the time and storage on the right for, I've got some snacks in here, gloves, glasses hang off of there, phone, whatever I need to access quickly, and usually another bottle on this side. And then most of my gear, since that's, other than the sleeping bag, this is all kind of superfluous stuff, most of my gear is in here. This is a half bag custom made for this frame from Urban Desert. So it's a pretty big half bag. I would say volume wise, this half bag is bigger than a lot of full frame bags. In the top here, I've got my sleep system. I've got a Bora Gear tarp, sil nylon, and a Cuban fiber stuff sack. Super tiny, packs great. It's 8.5 by 10 size, I believe. So big volume, it can cover a lot of area. You can make a tent out of it, whatever you need. Sea to Summit pillow. This is the most comfortable camping pillow I found, and it's like 2 ounces. Well worth its weight and space in here. And then a Bora Gear bug bivvy. This is same kind of thing as the tarp, super light. The bug bivvy has a netting across the top instead of the traditional tarp or bivvies, so it feels a lot more like a one-person tent than a bivvy, and gives you that light packability and versatility with the tarp. Then sleep pad is down here. It's a Climate Static 5, I believe is the model, and it's been great until last night. It actually developed a leak, so I had to blow it up a couple times. So it's not the lightest, it's not the smallest, it's not the warmest, so this will probably get changed out, but it's been fine for the past year or so, and they're pretty cheap. They're like $35 on Amazon, so not a bad pad, just not great for cold temperature, and it only lasted about a year before a leak developed, which could be a lot for some people. And then the last big thing in here is a Puffy Coat. I sleep pretty cold, so I did pull this out last night. It was about 57 degrees. I know for some that's pretty warm camping, but for Florida that's pretty chilly for this time of year, so that was a nice creature comfort. And that takes up half the bag on its own, so you can see I've got a lot of room in here, and my sleep system is pretty tiny. Then the rest of the stuff in here is Toolkit, pump. There's my Toolkit, pretty typical patch, Leatherman, all the typical stuff for tubeless repair. Some first aid stuff, compass, a bunch of gels and emergency calories just in case, some extra straps if I need to strap anything down or make a DIY saddle pack. And then I've got a snowboard or ski lock in here. This thing weighs like 3 ounces, and it's a good, if you're running in a grocery store and you can't watch your bike or something, good little peace of mind. And a couple napkins for emergencies, some mustard packs. That's it. So it doesn't look like much. It's super ultra light, and it's small, makes the bike feel like there's not really anything on it. But this is everything I really need. It's all the essentials for cooler weather even. If the weather's warmer, I don't take the sleeping bag. I don't take the Puffy Coat. I take a silk liner and the tarp and bivvy and pad, and that's pretty much all I need. And then the rest of the space gets filled with food and water. And then I have plenty of extra space between the frame pack and this handlebar bag then. For the colder weather stuff, it gets packed up pretty tight. If I needed more clothing or more food for longer distances, I'd add another bottle cage on the bottom, add a small seat pack. I think like a 5-liter would be the ideal setup for me. I could put a lot in 5 liters, and I think that would be enough for long-term travel with this setup. So that's a pretty dialed, pretty lightweight and compact setup for bikepacking, and by far my favorite. The tarp and bivvy is my favorite sleep system. I've used hammocks and tents, and now this bivvy system. The bug bivvy is better than a regular bivvy. It doesn't collect condensation and make you feel soaking wet when you wake up. It breathes like a tent, a 2-wall tent with the tarp set up correctly. Or if you need it, if you have bad weather, you can, tie down and make a full sealed 4-wall tent. And that's about it. This was a great trip, overnighter here at JC's with Carlos Single Track Samurai, and everything performed great.